Hey y'all, this is Clint Schaffer from Around the Farm, and I wanted to let you know that this is going to be the last and final episode that I host, but not the last episode of Around the Farm. We will continue to bring you amazing guests and conversations like we always have. But one more thing before I go. I thought it would be fun to leave you all with some of my favorite moments from all of our episodes of Around the Farm. Enjoy. I think there's a dish out there, a turducken.
Duncan?
A turducken?
Duckin?
Turducken?
Turducken.
Is that what okay, there
Duckin.
you go.
Yeah.
Okay, now that I don't think's real popular up around us, but I hear, maybe you get down around, even St. Louis, I think this starts becoming pretty popular, so.
Yep, I've heard about it.
Any of that on Dunn Farms?
Not that I'm aware of. We have turkeys.
Okay.
No
yep.
turduckens, but we have chicken, separate, not together, but not a combined animal.
So for those that may not know what this term is, it's a turkey. No, it's a chicken inside a duck inside a turkey.
Is
that right?
I'll take your word for it. That sounds
I
right.
think that's the flow of it.
A chicken and a duck and a turkey.
Man,
what a combination!
What a combo! Yeah.
Well, turkey's good.
I think this may just be one of those years. You and I should do a turducken cook-off.
I'm in.
I think
sounds
that's
like
what
a
we
great
need to
idea.
Do. All right,
let's do it.
All right, that's a bet, y'all.
That's
right
a gentleman's bet.
All right.
If I remember right, on our episode of planting, trying to eat chili in the seat of a tractor, does that ring a bell?
Yeah. Chili's that's not good tractor
I think
food,
I'll pass.
So,
I think I'll pass.
Yeah. Well, I would also state the other thing, kind of the last thing that I go on a meal is the funniest meal to have out in the field. And I've mentioned this before on a podcast too. And for me, it was ended up bringing out chili. And trying to eat chili while in a tractor cab is just, it makes you chuckle. I mean, you're happy for it, right? Because who doesn't love chili? But you're trying to just bounce through the field trying to eat chili.
I got an image in my head of you trying to eat chili right now.
Yeah, it's probably bad. That's a bad image, like even if I'm sitting at a table, let alone, bouncing in a field. So
my mom thought spaghetti and garlic bread was a good idea, which it's not bad. But when you're trying to go through the field and spaghetti sauce and I got to have spaghetti on the garlic bread to eat it. So
yeah.
that was an interesting one in the combine. But yeah, that chili, that's an interesting one.
If you don't put some spaghetti sauce on your garlic bread, you're just a monster. I mean,
you're
come
not
on
doing
now.
it right.
You talk about floppy drives, and I think that's hilarious. I've seen some reports about today's kids. They have the save button is still the floppy disk, but they have no clue what that means. Where that icon actually came from.
Where does this go? Yeah, where does this disc go? And how many songs can I hold on it?
Yeah, like half of one, right?
Yeah.
It was interesting. I just think back of back in school, I worked in the computer department, and everybody's finals and their papers and thesis and everything else was all on 3.5-inch floppies. And you talk about failure of these discs, right? I mean, they were not very reliable. And I remember, this gal comes walking in, and she's just in tears. Her entire thesis is saved on this, and you can't recover it, right? And it's like, that's like the only copy. And those are just like nightmare stories that I think of when thinking about some of those old types of media. I think it was Dad's first yield monitor was literally a flow flap in the unload auger, right? And of course you can imagine the accuracy on this thing, right? But hey, it got us to a point that we got to the next level, right? And then you start getting your moisture sensors in there and your pressure plates and all of that. But it was funny. It literally started with just a flap on the end of an auger.
Well, I was talking to Dad this morning, and so we're getting ready to start putting some soybeans in the ground, and I started asking him, what's the first field that you're talking about doing? And the field that he tells me is right next to the blacktop, right? Which is always like the worst place to start, right? Because you just took it out of the shed. You're going to try getting everything up and running. any issues, that you're going to have. Now the neighbor's going to see all this. And it started making me think back. One spring, I was running this inline ripper that we have, and trying to do some spring tillage work ahead of the planter. And next thing you know, I'm sitting there tooling along, listening to the radio, probably, I don't know, on Twitter or something, right?
Taking a picture of the scenery.
Yeah, probably. Doing something like that. And next thing you know, I just start running out of power. And it's just brrr, and all of a sudden I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I turn around, it was a soybean field, and we had just a little bit of moisture. Those stems weren't going through the ripper. It packs the ripper clear full, and I was dragging the largest bunch of stems, and it had basically got to the point where the tractor could not pull it anymore, right next to the blacktop. I'm looking at this going, I can't even cover this up and act like this didn't happen. I cannot hide this from Dad.
Doug comes down and Clint drug the biggest beaver hut that ever's been seen.
We had to get the loader tractor out in the field and literally start pushing this pile around just so we could even plant through it. Dad and I had a similar instance with row clutches. This was the first year that we put these were pneumatic air clutches that we put on, installed them across a planter, and we go out there and we're trying to see if they work. It's tell you the truth, no joke, same field that I've been talking about this whole time. Field 4 of ours, right next to the darn blacktop again. And so we're out there. Well, the first pass, we go around the field and everything plants just fine. But that first pass, you're manually planting it. And when we're going north and south along the end rows, we're weaving in and out of the telephone poles, right? You got to plant every inch of your field.
You got to farm the ditch. Oh, yeah,
you got to farm the ditch a little bit. And so we're going, the first pass, we go in and out of the telephone poles, come back around, second pass, we start taking off, and row 12 stops working. Not planting. Next thing you know, row 12 starts planting. And we're like, what is going on? Pretty soon we go up a little ways, row 12 stops planting. We get out, we go back, we check to make sure it's not plugged up, full of dirt or whatever. Nothing. It looks like it's absolutely perfect. Get back in, take back off, row 12 starts working again. Get up a little ways, row 12 stops working. Pretty soon, after the second time of getting out of the planter to go check row 12 to see if it's working, we realize that we're going across where we have weaved out, and the row clutch is doing what it's supposed to do, shutting the row off.
Working as expected.
Working exactly how it is designed to work. And I'm not kidding, Tanner. Dad and I both just stood in the field, I'll bet you for a couple minutes, and just sat there and laughed. Like, we're like, oh, what are we doing?
It's always the little things, and you try to overlook everything, and it always comes back to just, slow down and pay attention to what's happening. But
yeah. I will tell you, one of the other funny stories that always pops up as we're sitting here thinking about some of the planting mishaps and whatnot. If you go back, this is before we had like tenders and everything else, right? Everything was in small bags, right? And we had this stake that Dad made out of a fence post that was mounted on our trailer. And you would take the bag and then you would shove it onto there and then you would stack them all up, all the empty bags, right? How we didn't impale ourselves on this as a kid, I have no clue, because there was like literally a sharp point on this to go through the bags. But anyway, we'd shove them all on, and then you take this stake off of the trailer and go stick it on the ground, then light it on fire, and you'd burn your bags, and take off planting, right? And I'm not kidding. It was at least once a year, you would come back. Like, let's say you'd started planting and you'd go up over the hill. You would come back on the next pass, drop over that hill, and realize that you set the entire field on fire. And it's like, oh no, what are we going to do?
I was just going to say, burning bags in an open cornfield doesn't sound like a bright idea. But
No.
Maybe I'm missing something here.
No, but I tell you what, for some reason, you would put it in the side of the ditch thinking there's enough green grass and nothing would go. And next thing you know, like I said, half your field's on fire. So no, we've had plenty of mishaps on that side of it.
The Seton Fire Department knows when Chaffer Farms are planting.
Yeah, follow the smoke. You'll find what field we're in. We talked about already trying to farm every inch of a field, swerving in and out of the telephone poles and everything. Well, Dad was doing that down where my Uncle Bill lives, right? That 80-acre field down there. And he's going around there. There was this old windmill that was right up against the edge of the field. And it's so old that it just has the gearbox on top. It doesn't have any of the fins, a little tripod, I don't know, 20 foot in the air or whatever. And Dad's trying to get close to it. And every year we get closer and closer and closer, right? I mean, right next to this thing. Well, finally he was going around and he caught it with the planter marker, the frame of it, and catches that thing. And he at least got stopped. And as he stops, this thing decides to just tumble over and fall directly on the planter. And I have no clue how. I still say today, he's just, one lucky farmer, but did not break a single thing on the planter.
Just fell straight down.
Fell straight down. The gearbox landed off the planter, so it actually didn't even, the heaviest part didn't hit anything. But of course, we had to stop, go get the loader tractor, and go pick up this windmill that was on our planter.
Is there a common theme with loader tractors in the field during planting season? Because I sure feel like it.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, if there's a loader tractor out there, it's probably not a great day. My time at the Baseball Hall of Dreams was coming to an end, but before I went back to the farm, I got to have the ultimate catch with one of America's favorite movie dads.
Hi.
Dwyer?
What's your name?
Good to see you. Clint Chaffer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Could I get you to sign my cap?
Sure.
That work?
Sure, no problem. Let's see.
Huge fan. Love what you've done here with this place. This
Thank
place
you.
is absolutely beautiful. So.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, it was a labor of love. I love baseball and I love Dyersville, so yeah, it had to happen.
I appreciate that. I got to ask just one question.
What's that?
You want to have a catch?
I'd like that.
Oh, perfect. Just grab a mitt out of here.
Yeah. How's that one?
Sure. Hey, that'll work. That's got some age on it there. There you go. What gave you the inspiration to start up, the Baseball Hall of Dreams?
Well, to be honest, I sort of had a Ray Kinsella moment. I love old buildings, and I saw this old building. It was for sale for years. And I was like, why isn't somebody stepping up and buying this building? It had a big hole in the roof. It was kind of a mess. But then suddenly I sort of saw like a Kinsella neon sign right on that corner. And I thought, am I supposed to listen to this voice and do what Ray does in the movie? And that's what I did. Bought the building, started sandblasting it, all this beautiful limestone underneath. And then we thought, we got to turn this into a baseball mecca. I've been coming out here for 34 years since the movie's been shot. And so we thought, let's call it the baseball building. And let's have a baseball Hall of Dreams for the people who maybe didn't make it to the Hall of Fame, but who did great things for baseball and, really appreciate the heart and soul of baseball.
So, as I sit here and I think of Field of Dreams, my favorite baseball movie of all times. And you have arguably one of the most iconic scenes in that movie with Want to Have a Catch. How have you looked at that, I guess, over time and just seen father, sons, father, daughters, whoever it is, out of the Field of Dreams having a catch?
I definitely get asked a lot to have a catch. And, to me, what a lot of people don't know is that my dad died 30 days before the movie was shot, unexpectedly. So you can imagine that leaving my father's funeral to go play a dead father coming out of the corn to play catch with their son made that movie much more profound for me. I felt my dad's presence with the ghost players on the field. And, so when people ask me to have a catch or they want to tell me their story about their dad, it just reminds me of my dad. And to me, that's sort of the point of the whole movie, is let's have a catch. You tell me about your dad, and I'll tell you about mine. And, we pass the time and learn a lot about each other. So to me, it's been a blessing, even though it's, as James Earl says in the movie, this is your penance, Ray, so this is my penance, John.
This has been absolutely awesome. Dream come true. Dwyer, thanks for the catch, man. Dwyer? There's a lot of magic around here. We had something similar with our with the back end of the combine. This would have been several years ago. They're they're built well, but I mean, that's probably one of the weaker points of a combine, right? I mean, just a lot of weight and a lot of leverage back there. Well, we put on those, of course, we farm a lot wetter farm, and so we run those big floater tires, right? And we put some pretty big floater tires on the back of the combine as well. And Dad's going along, and this was at our Keysburg farm, which has our center pivot on it. And next thing you know, going through, and just doesn't want to steer anymore. And he looks back, and what ended up happening is the tire falls into the rut of the irrigation, right? Gets stuck in there, and then snaps the tie rod. Oh. And so next thing you know, I mean, this thing's just towed out, basically just bulldozing.
Plowing the entire field.
Yeah, exactly. So here we are, it's one of those where trying to find an entire tie rod that goes across the back of your combine isn't usually the easiest thing. So that was a quick trip to Cokel's Welding and get them to weld it up and get it back on. So we've had similar things on just sticking on this whole tire piece. Again, run those big floater tires. I think we run big old Mitas floater tires now on the front of them. But we've also snapped final drives off, and next thing you know, you're going along and the whole combine, feels like it drops into a crater. And that was more on some of the older combines. I think that just had some, they probably weren't built for as big of tires and things that we're putting on them today. But I think a majority of them now, they're built pretty heavy.
No, we haven't had any issues. Knock on wood.
But anyway, one of the stories, we have a chopping head at this point, right? And this particular chopping head has lawnmower blades on the bottom of it, right? That basically chop the stalks. So he's going around this one field, and we farm around a ton of trees, right? And every year there's a whole bunch of trees that have fallen out in the fields, and you got to pick around them. Well, he's trying to pick through this tree. Backs up, looks at it one more time, and raises his head up just a little bit to get that one last cob, right? And that lawnmower blade smacks that tree and shears a $2,000 gearbox.
How was that one ear?
A $2,000 gearbox for one ear. And so you can imagine I've made fun of him, quite a bit on that one of like, hey, is that ear worth it there? On Chaffer Farms, the one story that Dad always shares, I think I was too young to truly remember this, but I'm going to share it anyway. But Dad's going along, and I can't remember whether it's with the bean platform or the corn head, but going along, and you know how you always have critters running in front of you, right? Especially when you get down to some of the shorter, end of the rows there. Anyway, a skunk decided not to run faster than what the combine could go, and unfortunately, that poor little critter goes all the way through the thrasher, and Dad just kept saying, he's in the combine cab, trying not to probably lose his lunch, right? And he's like, it took probably 2 to 3 seasons before he could stop smelling that skunk. But yeah, that was one of those where I'm surprised that, that wasn't an excuse to trade combines at that point in time.
Those definitely helped. I think half of my YouTube subscribers came for the raccoons. It started out, I don't even remember what year it was. I went outside one morning, I was still selling seed, and my dog, at that point, I thought she'd found a kitten. Nope, it turns out that she stole a baby raccoon from the nest, just wanted it to be her buddy and was trying to take care of it. And I was like, oh man, I know they're a nuisance, but I feel so guilty that my dog just stole this raccoon. Like, even if I could find the nest, the mom's not going to take it back. So I threw the raccoon in a box. His eyes were still closed, and I stopped at Rural King on my way to my sales calls that day to get some formula in a bottle, and it just kind of went from there. And they were a lot of fun, and I think I've had 4 or 5 since then. So I was pretty bummed this year I didn't have any. I guess I got a reputation. If you search me on Yahoo, the neighbor found this out. If you search Aaron Holbert, the first thing that comes up is Raccoon Lady. So I'm not sure that that's really how I want to go down in internet history, especially when you Google who the Raccoon Man is. But I guess we'll have to embrace it.
It's just part of it, right? I do have to say, this is a fun little fact. I have actually raised, I think we've raised 3 raccoons myself. So growing up, we had them on the farm a couple different times. And one of them that we had a set of twins. And I was probably close to 16. And I would be on the 4-wheeler running through the pasture checking hot wire for those cattle that we were talking about. And they would I would have a raccoon baby on both sides of my shoulders, and they would just be crawling over my head as I'm, flying down the field, checking hot wire. They are some of the most fun pets that you can have. You do got to watch out when they get bigger, of course. But man, they are just so unique on how they just handle everything. I think raccoons are just so adorable.
Oh, they're a blast for sure.
Okay, so somehow I have found myself in the ribeye tent, and John, how do we get to this spot where we're gonna have a ribeye eating contest?
I'm not sure. You have to tell me. I don't know.
I think you got voluntold on this one.
Yep, I got pressured into this one for sure. I didn't have a choice. But.
All right. Well, I tell you what. I think on the count of 3. We just rip into these things, and the first one done wins.
Let's do it.
I think in the end of this, we're both going to be winners because, we're eating awesome ribeye sandwiches at the Farm Progress Show.
Absolutely. Can't beat it.
All right. I'm going to set this down, though, so no head starts here. All right.
Here we go.
In 3, 2, 1, go.
If I didn't already have 4 earlier, it would have helped, but. Not even close.
Cheers, John.
Wow, that's impressive. I feel like you've done this before. You lied. That was impressive. Wow.
That was a good match.
Yeah, that was pretty horrible. Yeah. Like you said, I had about 4 earlier, so you caught me at a bad time.
Well, if it helps, I'm the Iowa National Eating Champion.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm just totally kidding. Totally kidding.
That would make sense.
Totally kidding. Well, John, thanks for playing along.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was fun.
All right. Maybe next time I'll get half down by the time you finish.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right. Joey Chestnut, you're next. And now you're going to see some footage from the vault, unaired, unauthorized, from our trip at Commodity Classic in 2023. We shot this, we had a blast, and here's a few clips. We're on a quest to find a rare secret stone. Where do you find those stones at? Well, the Commodity Classic, of course. Let's head on inside.
Mysterious artifacts of unknown origin have been uncovered, and some believe they could be the key to the very future of agriculture as we know it.
The symbols carved into its surface bear remarkable resemblance to FieldView imagery.
Dave, how's it going today?
Doing well. How you doing today, Clint?
I am on this quest to find this ancient, mysterious rock. Can you give me any information around this?
You know, somebody told me not too long ago, I think maybe FieldView might have had some information that would possibly help you out there.
Okay, well, I'm going to keep moseying then. So, Dave, thank you.
Clint, great to meet you. I appreciate you stopping by.
Enjoy the rest of the show.
Will do. Thank you.
Brandon, how's it going today?
Hey, better than I deserve, sir.
All right. So, Brandon, I am on a quest here at Commodity Classic to find, this ancient old rock. Can you point me in any good direction here?
Man, I've been hearing a lot about this rock. I don't know what it is, but this FieldView folks and the foreground folks over there, I hear it somewhere over there. So
okay, well, I'm gonna head that way and go check it out then. Right. So thanks, man.
You bet. Thank you.
All right. Hey, Britt, how's it going today?
Hey, going great. How are you doing?
Doing well.
Enjoying
well.
The show?
Absolutely. It's been an adventure to say the least. I am in search of this ancient stone, and I keep hearing about it, and I'm trying to find it. Do you have any information for me?
I've heard talk about it this week, and I think you might want to check with the folks at FieldView.
Okay, I'm gonna head that direction then. So, well,
Great.
Thanks, Britt.
Thank you. Thanks for the time.
Have a good one. Daniel, how's it going today?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
Doing well. I'm just walking around, having a little adventure here on Commodity Classic, trying to find this ancient, mysterious rock.
I've heard rumors that the guys at FieldView booth know a little bit about it.
Okay, well, I'm going to head that direction then, so I appreciate the time.
No problem. Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.
Caitlin, how's it going today?
Going well. How are you doing?
Doing well. I'm on a little bit of an adventure here at Commodity Classic, and I'm trying to find this ancient, mysterious stone. And I was just curious, have you heard anything about that?
I've heard rumors. I think it has something to do with the FieldView folks, so you might want to check over there.
Okay, I'm going to head that way then. So, all right, thank you. Mr. Joe Nail, how's it going today?
Good to see you, Clint. How you doing, bud?
Doing wonderful. Hey, I hear that you're retiring here.
Yeah, a couple more weeks. It's been a great run at FieldView, though. I love it.
Commodity Classic is absolutely one of my absolute favorite shows.
Mysterious artifacts of unknown origin have been uncovered, and some believe they could be the key to the very future of agriculture as we know it.
Now, with that said, I do want to say thank you to everybody out there. Thank you to all of our listeners. Thank you to all of our incredible guests. And also thank you to everybody that makes this podcast possible as well. So, our producers and directors and editors, thank you for that as well. This has been a heck of a ride, and this is the last time that you'll see me around the farm, 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 around the farm.